We got PYS in the house. My boy, PYS. How you doing, bro?
Yo, can you hear me?
Be good if I have my headset on.
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Sorry, I didn't have my headset on.
Yeah, all
How are
good.
you, bro?
It's good stream. I
How are
just
you?
what I probably got like half hour. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We'll probably wrap up in half an hour as well. How you doing, bro? Talk to me.
yeah. I mean, went to the game today. I saw some fans were saying what can Poch do? We went down to 10 men, that type of thing. I've seen a lot of fans online sort of post our stats of big chances created, and they are right in
Hmm.
some certain aspects. Like we do have a lot of raw players. Like I thought last game before this against Bournemouth, like we were just unlucky. Like at that game, I was like, what can Poch actually do? Because we had so many chances. It was just a case of like, okay, we need to repeat this on the training ground. We need to, um, just continue to do attacking drills and try and eventually score. But
Hmm.
today was like I just felt like it was another game where he was like tactically outclassed by a decent manager. I didn't even think Aston Villa played that well, but we had a whole week to prepare for this. And Villa, I know they rested a few players in Europa League, but
Hmm.
still they travelled like Watkins, Diaby. I think they travelled to Poland,
Yeah,
and they
they
didn't really
did.
have much time to prepare. So yeah, I think today was just honestly it's very, very boring to watch in the stands. I don't know how it was like for you guys on whatever you watched on TV or whatever, but
Hmm.
it's just very repetitive, sideways all the time. There's no one really, you know, breaking any passes into midfield. No one really taking risks.
How's
Clearly,
the
I
how's the
think there's
mood? How's the mood in the stadium,
it
PYS?
was it was like it was just extremely subdued, and then at the end, it was like, bro, the boos were crazy. Honestly, the boos were crazy.
Wow. Wow.
Um, Yeah, I think people just sort of saying, same shit as last season. Heard a few people say, "Oh, I didn't want him anyway." That sort of talk already. It's like he's gonna lose the fans, bro. He really is. And yeah, as I was saying, like I didn't want Poch in the first place, but like I was speaking to some people in the club, and they were like, guaranteeing me like this is going to be a good fit. And I think if you actually just look at like our sort of project in quotation marks, because I actually hate that word right now, but if you just look at what we're trying to do and like what our current squad is, I think
Yeah.
Poch actually aligns with it because he has worked with young players. He's
Hmm.
proven to get top four in Premier League, and he's worked at another bigger club with a difficult board. So it's like he's got like a lot of experience. But if he can't deliver here, it's like who can with our current squad? Like it's
Hmm.
very hard to find that manager if they do sack him that can deliver in the short term, but also when obviously the results do go bad, it's like they have enough sort of like balls to like come out and say, no, this is not good enough. Like this is, you know what I mean? Like there's a fine line between losing games and going through a bad patch. But what I see right now is like we're doing that, but also Poch just doesn't really seem to. I don't want to say doesn't seem to care, but that's how he's coming across. There's a lot of excuses in the media.
Hmm.
There's a lot of like, like, oh, we've got loads of injuries and stuff, which we do. But again, I think another thing that worries me is like his whole game plan seems to be centered around Nkunku, and like ever since
Yeah.
Nkunku's got injured, doesn't seem to know like what he's doing. Like I see in games today, like why is he starting Cole? Why is he starting Gallagher over Cole Palmer? It doesn't make
Bro,
sense.
that was mad. That was mad. And on top of that, Gallagher's captain, bro.
Yeah,
That's mad.
Enzo. I just had a discussion with a journalist about the captaincy. By the way, like it's crazy, like how um like behind the scenes, like Thiago Silva, I think he's, like he does, he's been giving captain away, right? Like when during the
Yeah.
games, like he has given it to Enzo. Like there's Gallagher who was going to leave the club but is now captain. Like that's confusing people. Like it's just crazy. Like who is our penalty taker when we get a penalty? Like it's everything from top to bottom just seems so disjointed. And
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just like we honestly, I don't know if we can swear on this stream, but we are effed, bro. Like honestly we are because like you look at our fixtures, like
We're
unless we
gonna get
go,
knocked out by Brighton. You know that. We're gonna get
bro,
knocked out by
we're
Brighton.
gonna get played off the park. But that's not even the thing, right? Forget the cups, the league. Honestly, um, the league is the most worrying thing because of like our position, and some people saying it's only like 5, 6 games, whatever. Okay, it
Yeah.
is, but then you see what's coming up, right? It's not like we've got winnable games. Like we literally have in October, November, we literally have all the big teams, like
Yeah.
literally, and throw in a couple of teams like I mean, are we even going to beat Fulham next week? Like, seriously, like it's crazy. It's crazy,
It's a
bro. Like,
question mark, bro. It's a question mark.
I don't know what to say. Like, honestly, it's
It's
yeah. I think, bro. Honestly, the players out of position is doing my head in the most. Actually, like,
bro. Look. The players out of possession is obviously dangerous, but I want to now to ask you about something else. I'm
hmm,
actually getting worried about certain players that are now, you know, declining to our levels. Like Enzo Fernandez for the past couple of games, man. I'm worried, bro. This guy is our best player, in my opinion. And even he's starting to look a shadow of his own self. Like he goes to Argentina, he balls out, he comes to Chelsea Football Club. And I know once again, out of position, him playing so much further
yeah.
up
Why?
should be a
Why,
little
bro?
bit deeper.
You should see the way he would, bro. He was pressing as a striker today. I'm not even joking you. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was with Nicholas Jackson, bro,
It's
pressing. What
mad,
is he
bro. It's
doing?
mad.
He's not someone that should be pressing the opposing goalkeeper and centre backs. Like, that should be Gallagher, if anything.
Yeah.
Like, my only reasoning is he wants more legs in midfield. But didn't you sign Caicedo to put next to Enzo, but to allow Enzo to go forward because Caicedo's got the legs? Why are you
Yeah.
putting Gallagher in there? Why do you need Gallagher and Caicedo? Bro, it's I don't understand him, honestly. I just don't understand. Like, how can a manager change tactics so, so like differently from preseason? It was working in preseason. We had patterns of play in preseason. He looked authoritative in preseason. Another thing I picked up on today, there's two things, right? The first thing I've really worried about, and it's something that not a lot of fans are saying, right? But
Mm,
his lack of like urgency on subs is ridiculous. Like, there has been so many times this season, bro, where we have a shit first half and he doesn't
mm.
make any subs. He doesn't change anything. I just don't understand it. Like, I
And the
honestly,
subs are bad as well, PYS. Like,
bro,
why do
I
you take
can't wait. I
Mudrik
can't
off?
wait for it.
Why do you take
Honestly,
Mudrik off?
yeah. Again, I mean, he's always the first one sacrificed, and like, but the subs, right? I can't wait for a day that a manager comes to this club where they can see what the fans are seeing, that where we play shit first half, and
Mm,
they make subs, like they change things. They're proactive. He's not proactive on the touchline. Preseason, every single game, proactive on the touchline. The guy's sitting down half the time. Like, he's a complete change guy from preseason, and I know he wanted certain things, and I think there's above. There's major issues above, right? Honestly, these guys above are major issues, and the fans just want to go for the manager. And Poch is clueless, but the above are clueless as well, bro. Like, honestly, they
but Poch
really are.
signed up for this, bro. PYS,
But
Poch signed up for
yeah,
this.
he did,
He
and
he
there'll be
he, he
another
apparently
manager,
knows the project.
and there'll be another manager. But the thing is I feel like this for some of our players though. It's like the players, they come in, right, and they're like, they say I came for the project, I got sold by the project, and it's like, I think when they come here, certain players are like, oh shit, like he's ahead of me, and now I'm not happy. Like, this is not what I expected, and like,
Mm.
type of thing. Like, it's like Cole Palmer's been benched for like 2 games, and he's like,
Bro, that makes zero sense. How Cole Palmer
it's
does not
crazy. Like,
start, bro. It's
I
crazy.
think this happens with the managers as well, bro. They get told one thing, and then when they're appointed, something different happens. That's honestly what I think is happening, and it's like it's crazy. Like, I honestly feel like they're extremely difficult to work with, these guys.
But
I
tell
know
me one thing,
Bali's involved
PYS.
a
Tell me
lot.
one thing. When we are going through recruitment during our summer window, right? Do you think that the board and the recruitment team they're not consulting with Pochettino?
So
Like
I thought all along.
what's going on with that?
So I thought all along, personally, that the ownership or the directors, they buy players based off data, and basically they give that data to the manager, and they say like, here's why we think it's a good fit, and basically the manager, I don't think gets much of a say. Like, I don't really think he goes like, no, like I don't want him. Like, I disagree with that, and then it doesn't happen. Like, I genuinely think as long as there's like a unanimous voting system between like the ownership and the directors, I think that player gets brought in. And I think it came out about Graham Potter when he was sacked. There was a few
Mm.
articles saying he didn't want him and this and that. Like, I know Enzo's been a great signing, but apparently he didn't want Enzo, and he was unhappy with the amount of players that came in. And I think with Pochettino, I definitely think there's been 2 or 3 players that have come in that may not be his, like players that he asked for. I know that he
Mm.
wanted Dybala, and the ownership were like, no, he's doesn't fit the age
He
profile.
wanted
I know that he
Lautaro
wanted
Martinez as well, right? He wanted Lautaro
he,
Martinez.
he wanted he he wanted a lot of Premier League proven. he wanted a lot of Premier League proven experience that have played, more than one season in the Premier League, and he didn't get that. So I do think there's a disconnect there as well. But at the same time, it's like I come back to my point, and I put this in the chat when I joined. I was like, if you just look at the three managers, right, that made our shortlist, right, for after Potter got sacked, Ange Postecoglou, okay, he's doing good at Spurs, very good, but Spurs is almost a free hit, and there's no pressure there. I honestly don't think he would have done well at Chelsea. It's not the same, right? Whatever, he's doing good, but I don't think that translates over to Chelsea. What he's doing right now, Ange Postecoglou, you had Vincent Kompany, and you had Poch. All three of these guys, right? All three of these guys are not managers that are going to contest an ownership. They're not going to contest a director. They're not going
Yes,
to.
man.
They're not, in simple terms, yes, pretty much. They're not going to kick up a fuss. You see, Luis Enrique traveled for one meeting, and they were like, "No, he was off the shortlist straight away." You know why? Because he's a proper manager who wants demands. He demands things, and he's authoritative. And they were like, "No, that's too much to work with. That's too much to deal with." That's why they got rid of Tuchel. That's why Nagelsmann wasn't appointed, and that's why I basically think we're fucked. Because even if we get rid of Pochettino, it's like it will be someone like Arne Slot from Feyenoord. It will be someone like I don't know. It'll be another project manager, and they'll just keep going and going and going until eventually they realize, okay, this shit isn't working. Like, what do we do now? But you know what's worrying is they've gone so far into this project. They've gone so far into the young players. It's now like they almost
there's no point of return. There's no return anymore.
They can't just like, okay, we need to get rid of like 5, 6, 7 of these young players in the actual starting level, in the bench, whatever, because and like turn back and go a different way because they've almost like laid their bed. Like, who is going to buy these players if they want to then change direction because they realize this direction is not working? Like, honestly, like it's just. They've just dug themselves a hole, and they're like putting all this faith in like this works, and it's like until we get a manager that gets us like just a stable season, like top 6 or whatever, and then we can build on something. I don't see how like.
Do you reckon there's absolutely no manager out there that can do a better job than Pochettino with the current squad? At least bring us to some level. Like, we're 14th, bro. Like, do you reckon there's absolutely no one there that can at least get a lot better than what we have?
I don't think so, honestly. As I said, I feel like I can be, anyone can be Poch out, right? It's unacceptable. But the thing is like, and you see him changing his tune in the media as well. And
bro, big time.
But I honestly feel like he knows now what he's working with, and he knows now, like, okay, like, shit, we didn't get certain things in. We didn't get my Premier League experience. We didn't get my couple of older players that I wanted. We didn't get a proven striker. He knows that we're dealing with a young squad now, so things have kind of changed in terms of like how he's talking, because he understands like, okay, shit, this is going to take quite a long time, and it's like you're stuck in a catch-22 when you're Chelsea manager because you don't get that time. You're expected to deliver now.
We'll take it from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Catch you later. See ya.